from the station you count on for local news that matters. This is KARK 4 News at 6.
Today marking 20 years since a small Arkansas town's feeling of safety shattered with the abduction of a 6-year-old girl who remains missing to this day. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Ketz.
Hello, good evening. I'm Bob Clausen. Morgan Nick last seen at the Alma ballpark dumping sand from her shoe. Now, 2 decades later, police are still piecing leads together, and her family still hoping to see her again.
KARK4's Marcy Manley sitting down with Morgan's mother. Marcy, did she ever think her daughter would be missing for so long?
Absolutely not. Once police were involved, Colleen Nick believed Morgan would be found at any moment. Days, weeks, and eventually years have passed, but those who have been devoted to finding her still have hope. 6-year-old Morgan Nick disappeared from the Alma ballpark complex after convincing her mother to let her chase fireflies with friends.
It was such pure childhood innocence and such evil that met in that same moment.
Witnesses say they last saw Morgan pouring sand from her shoes, speaking with a man next to a red pickup with a camper. A police search ensued, and tips continue to come in to this day, filling a room solely dedicated to Morgan's case.
I believed in us. I thought we would, and I still do. I just didn't think it would be 20 years later we'd still be working on it.
I'm not giving up. I am coming to find you. You are worth fighting for. I have always believed that you would come home.
Over the past 20 years, Morgan's mother established the Morgan Nick Foundation and has worked to keep hope alive, not just for Morgan, but all of those 2,000 kids reported missing in the U.S. every day. 20 years, a long time to hang on to hope, but Colleen Nick says she will continue fighting for Morgan until her daughter returns home. As you can imagine, a lot has changed in 2 decades, including the tools and tactics available to work missing kids' cases. Tonight at 10, we take a look at what some of those changes are and how they might help your child if they ever end up in Morgan's situation. Back to you.
All right, Marcy, thank you very much. And tonight we're hearing from Morgan Nick's childhood friends, still torn up inside all these years later after their friend's disappearance, and remembering a suspicious man watching them play.
I remember him being up there and a man leaning against his truck while we were playing. But you're so innocent then, you don't think anything, and you're just running around laughing and playing. And like I said, we were catching fireflies and just being kids.
Just being kids. Jessica and her friend Ty were the last 2 children ever to see Morgan Nick. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children hopes to find Morgan Nick, especially in light of the recovery of the J.C. Duggar and 3 Cleveland women years after their abduction. We've attached several reports in this case, including this interview, to our website. For more, just head there, arkansasmatters.com.
A legally blind man is speaking out after saying he was injured when a Little Rock police officer slammed him to the ground. KARK4's Drew Petrimo has obtained the video showing what happened. He joins us now live from police headquarters tonight. Drew.
Well, actually, Bob, Little Rock police say they won't comment on the video until after they're done investigating Eric Wilson's complaints. But we met up with Wilson and his lawyer today to hear their side of the story. It was just before 4 o'clock Monday, June 1st. Eric Wilson was walking home along 65th Street. Little Rock police say they got a call about someone fitting Wilson's description running away from or chasing someone, and who appeared to be afraid. Wilson is legally blind and says he only sees shadows and didn't know who was calling him. The officers tell Wilson to put his hands behind his back, and then he's taken to the ground.
And I was trying to figure out what was going on, and before I knew it, I was slammed to the ground.
Behind your back. In a police report, an officer said Wilson pulled away violently, causing him to lose grip, and that he was afraid Wilson would strike him or his partner with the handcuff. But Wilson and his lawyer, Reggie Koch, say that is not what the video shows. Now, that night, Wilson says he went to the hospital where he was diagnosed with a strained lumbar. Again, Little Rock police say they are investigating Mr. Wilson's formal complaint that he filed here at the department. Reporting live at LRPD headquarters, I'm Drew Petrimo.
Drew, thanks very much. Investigators now prepping to pull a busted natural gas pipeline from the bottom of the Arkansas River. Now that river conditions have finally eased up, Spectra Energy, who runs the line, at last able to send some divers down and assess the scene. The company plans to pull the 400-foot piece of disconnected pipe from the riverbed this week. You see them going down there today. But to do so, Spectra is going to need to cut the pipe into sections and then place those recovered pieces out on a barge so they can do their out-of-water inspection. The company hopes this will provide some sort of answer as to why the pipeline blew, leaking gas and also damaging a boat back on May 31st. That rupture closed down 2 miles of the river for traffic for almost a week.
Many farmers racing against the weather as the planting window begins to close, and it's getting very close to being shut. KARK4's Hillary Hunt is back from Prairie County, where tractors are running from sunup to sundown to get the job done.
That's right, Bob. It's 14 to 15-hour days for many farmers as they hope to get their soybean crop in the ground before Mother Nature strikes again.
For every day that we're delayed, our harvest, our bushels go down.
Rich Hillman and his son Colin are running full steam Tuesday as they rush to get thousands of dollars worth of soybean seed in the ground.
An inch of rain will cause 2 to 3 days, sometimes a week delay.
Hillman says every day it rains, tens of thousands of dollars get washed away from their yield, something agriculture extension agents say will hit farmers right in the pocket.
When you have reduced yields, you're in terrible trouble of really going in the hole as far as the bank's concerned.
Farmers hope to have their soybean crop planted by mid-June. In order to do that, dry weather must remain. But while the potential of rain is looming over this week, these farmers are feeling the heat.
We're really in a hurry to get as much in the ground as we can in the quickest way possible.
So despite the 90-degree weather and long hours, Hillman and his son are cranking out the seed hour by hour.
So it's a race.
In hopes of beating Mother Nature at her own game.
Now, Hillman says another factor in potential profit loss this year is the fact that soybean prices are down over 10% this year compared to last year. Bob, Ashley?
Hillary, thanks. The University of Arkansas in Little Rock taking time today to remember a former student who was killed last week. Today, the university held this memorial service for Yolanda Whitfield. Whitfield's friends say while she was a student at UALR, she served as a resident assistant and also was in the social work program, very involved. Her family is grateful for all of the support.
I guess through all of that, it has eased the pain of missing her.
Now, Whitfield's boyfriend, Corey Brooks, is facing first-degree murder charges for the 34-year-old's death.
Because education matters, love of music leading to mentoring. That's the story behind a Little Rock School District safety officer teaching students how to play music. Chad Henson and the students at Jefferson Elementary put on a show today after 6 months of practicing and training. It was their end-of-year performance for the 5th graders.
And Little Rock Parks and Recreation getting a $30,000 grant to help make sure kids eat during the summer. They won that grant in partnership with the National Recreation and Park Association. It will be used to upgrade all the kitchen equipment and supplies at various community centers. Parks and Rec will also get additional meal support through the USDA for its summer feeding programs. A good goal from the Good Earth. More on a teen's gift for growing vegetables blossoming into being a godsend for a local charity.
And even though humidity was down just a bit today across most of the state, it was still hot outside. In Little Rock, we started at 72 up to 94 this afternoon. Even hotter tomorrow. But temperatures do drop a bit by the end of the work week, but rain chances will be on the way up. We'll let you know what's in store for the end of the week and beyond in just a couple minutes.
From the station that brings you local news that matters, this is KARK 4 News at 6 in high definition. With Bob Clausen, Ashley Katz, Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan, and Aaron Peters with your Razorback Nation report.